Be those 3 months, and then of course we'd go on a success trip, and that trip will be to Disney World on those dates in September. All right? Okay, and then we have the event. And at the events, you get recognized, whether it's Success Summit or whether it's convention. That is where people stand up in front of their peers and are recognized for their accomplishments. And that's a big deal. You know, babies cry for it, grown men die for it. It's recognition. And so what you want to do is make sure that you get your people on stage. They've never been at work in any company or any organization where people put them on a stage and applaud them for their accomplishments. That's a big deal. So recognition is a key part of what we do. So that's a complete cycle right there. So this is the next cycle, okay? You've got a cycle right now that you can create executives in, and there's a big push for people to get there because they want to be on these trips, right? They're working with their downlines to create executives so they can be rubies and attend the trips. So you've got the cycles helping you create the executives you need to get the codes you want to roll out ageLOC Me, right? That's the whole point of it. And so the next one pops up. It starts on April 1st, and it will go all the way through September 30th of this year. And people will be pushing. The pressure will get bigger and bigger as we get closer to September 30th. More and more people pushing to become rubies so they can go on the next trip, right? So they can create more executives for the next LTO, which will be ageLOC Me. So we've got the better part of 2 cycles right now to allow you to use the pressure of these cycles to create executives so you can create more codes in your team for this launch. We maintain, and then we go on the trip. It's February 17, and we're recognized at the events, okay? So that's the cycle. Here's what happens, guys, okay? One, people start to realize, I gotta be an executive or I can't play in the LTO. You know, I get it. I understand what's about to happen here. I've got to make it. I've got to become an executive. And so the focus gets put on the right activities, okay? It's not about just customer acquisition. What did Paige Riffle say today? I lead with the opportunity and I default them into customers because they decline the opportunity. That's what I always did. I never went out there just to get customers on a product. I pitched everybody on the opportunity because I didn't know if they were at 12 o'clock or not. I just had to talk to them and find out if they were at 12 o'clock. And if they were, bam, we're in the business and we're off to the races. If they're not ready, not for me, then we're defaulting to product. Well, at least you ought to try the product. Right? So that's the focus. If your job is creating executives, and I'm telling you, if you're here today to be a team leader, a blue diamond in this company, and you want to create financial security, you have one job. That is create executives. You need to become an executive factory. That's your job. You need to utilize the system to crank out executives, okay? That's the factory. The factory is called System 7. That's the name of the factory. That's what you use to manufacture executives in your team. All right? And so you got to be an executive. When you're an executive, you have like a 3,000-point executive, you earn a new share in the leadership bonus pool. And as long as you do 3,000 a month, your first 3 months, you'll automatically get a new share in this executive leadership bonus pool. Okay? And then you get the extra executive bonus of 5%. Is there a lot of reasons people ought to be executives? Yeah, there's a lot of great reasons. It's all extra money when they do this and maintain 3,000 points. Utilize these cycles, ladies and gentlemen. Let them help you push people to executive creation. Understand what the pressure is that these cycles apply in the process of executive creation and utilize it. Be talking about it. Be talking about qualifying for the trips. Be talking about which cycle people are in. Sometimes people, all they're going to do is become executive in the first 6 months. In the next 6 months, you ought to be focused with them on getting them to Ruby. So their second cycle, they're actually going to get on the trip, right? That's the progression. Does all of that help you create more executives and get more codes? Of course it does, right? And so this is what happens. You know, we're right now, today we're about 10 weeks, 11 weeks away from the end of this cycle. It's going to ramp up the activity for these next 11 weeks as people realize it's coming to the end and we're starting the new cycle, right? So both of those things happen. What happens the month after people qualify? So they finish, like, let's say they finish by March 31st, and April they're a new executive, right? Now they get all the bonuses and the extras. What happens at the end of the September cycle? This year, at the end of the September cycle, they finish and qualify as executives because they know they can get codes to participate in ageLOC Me's launch, right? And all of a sudden, let's say the launch happens in October. That's their first executive month in this business, and all of a sudden they distribute these devices. They get 10 codes and they place all 10 devices. Okay, what's their check? What's their bonus check on $38,500? $1,925. I just showed that to you 4 slides ago. Okay, if they get executive status and they get 10 codes and they put those products in people's hands, okay, just the placement of the cell of those ageLOC needs with those 10 codes is 38,000 points, right? Okay? Okay, so, excuse me. It's not 38,000 points, right? 3,800 points, okay? So what's going to happen is that people are going to end up creating a significant bonus check. Hopefully, they're also going to be in the bonus pool at the same time. So what happens is people have this record first month. They did what you told them to do. They qualify as an executive. October, they're a brand new executive. They get codes, they place these devices, and all of a sudden they're getting a check, you know. They get $1,000. They get $2,000. Their first executive check. And all of a sudden they're excited about this business, right? It's like, wow, look what happened to me. And that's what you want to have happen, all right? So make sure that people participate in this particular way. Make sure you use the cycles to help you do it. And then immediately, what we do is focus them on the next cycle, the next success trip qualification, so that they're out there creating additional executives themselves. We've talked about this in the past. How much money does Nu Skin invest in your business every time somebody in your downline goes on a success trip? About $10,000 in that distributorship. About $10,000 to send them to these amazing places, and buy their airfare and provide all this amazing stuff for them while they're there. About $10,000. Don't you want Nu Skin investing $10,000 every 6 months for every couple in your downline? You know? Yeah, that's just promotional money you don't have to spend in your own business, right? So here's your goal. By March 31st, in the next 11 weeks, this is what you want to do. And anybody who's here today in this room can do it, all right? Your goal is to be a new Ruby, all right? We want you to create 4 executives on your front line. How are you going to do that? You're going to duplicate with these kits, okay? With the spa and with TR90, and we're not going to probably have youth by then. I think we actually get the 380 youth kit in April, as I recall, okay? So you're just going to keep duplicating with the 380 kits we have. The buy 3, get 1 free. You just keep doing that. Your objective is to get a letter of intent the first month and hopefully finish them off the second month as an executive, okay? That's the most efficient way to do that. You're going to complete this by March 31st, 2016, which is the end of the current cycle that we're in now. And then the new Ruby, after maintenance, will attend the Orlando Success Trip, and they'll have a great experience there, all right? So then what do you do the next 6 months? Because we got 2 cycles before we actually get to the LTO for the ageLOC Me device, right? And so what we do now is we take you, and your goal is to take those 4 executives and to create 4 new Rubies, right? We're going to take people that are executives only. In this cycle, we're going to sit down with them and set a goal for Ruby status and get them on the next trip. That's our goal. That's how we utilize the cycles, the pressure of the cycles, the promotion of the cycles to manufacture executives and build our business. So that's what it would look like if you were successful in the next 6 months by October 1st in creating 4 Rubies on your front line. And all of a sudden now you've got, 5 couples going on the next success trip, you and 4 others, right? You duplicate with 380 kits, same thing, spa, TR90, and youth at that point will be selling people those particular packages. Buy 3, get 1 free. We complete this by September 30th, 2016, and then that new Ruby, all of those new Rubies, attend the success trip in March of 2017. We don't know where that will be yet, but we always know it's a phenomenal place. And what matters more is the experience than the location, right? And so that's what will happen. So that's how you're going to do this, guys. So that is where we're at today. We've got this amazing youth opportunity with the scanner, being able to show people that it gets into their tissue of their bodies. We're the only people that can prove it. Powerful story. We've got the facial spa. We just keep duplicating. It's the weight loss season now. You might be selling people TR90s, buy 3, get 1 free, right? It's the season. And so all of a sudden you've got all these great options to build with. You just keep building the same duplication model that we have today. You build up for the launch of ageLOC Me. You get as many codes as possible in your downline. And then what do? You take the next 2 cycles and you multiply your executives for the launch of Epsilon, right? That's what you do. That's how you have a 24-month run that will be unprecedented. I'm serious. I have never seen the lineup the way I see it today, with these devices, with driven monthly consumption of product that can create recurring streams of revenue and income like we've really never had the ability to do. So is everybody here ready to take over the bathrooms of the world? Yeah. All right. Let's make sure we do it. Here's what would happen if you did what I just said. You got 2 cycles until ageLOC Me. You got 4 cycles until Epsilon. You got that? That's 2 years, right? Let's say you go on an Orlando trip all by yourself because you're serious today, you're here, you're not a Ruby, and you decide you're going to do it. You're going to get the executives by inviting people to the meetings next week and the meetings in Florida the week following that. Jeff Mack will be doing the business briefing on Friday night in San Diego. Does anybody here not believe that if you invite guests to attend for free Jeff Mack's presentation next Friday night, that Jeff Mack will put them in this business? I got to tell you, it's going to happen, okay? So what your job is right now is to get 10 people to San Diego on Friday night. I don't care who they are. I don't care how you find them. You pick up the phone and you start calling people. And you ask people, you know, who do you know in San Diego? Who do you know that knows somebody in San Diego? I need names in San Diego, okay? Or I need names in Orange County. I need names in Southern California. I need names in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a 5-hour drive, okay? I need names in the Southwest United States. I've got to get at least 10 people into the San Diego meeting on Friday night. It's going to be a blowout, okay? There's limited seats, I promise you. It will be a blowout. So you get people there for Jeff Mack. And the same thing happens with those people, right? We're going to get them to do the same thing and take brand new people that'll start inviting for South Florida. And they'll invite people all over the whole southeast of the United States, and they'll get them to Florida the next weekend, and you'll see this wave start to happen. You go to Orlando by yourself, and you execute the plan I just showed you. You'll have 4 people going with you. That'll be 5. You and 4 others going on the next success trip. And then you got another cycle as we lead up to Epsilon. That's the first tranche, the first cycle for Epsilon. And if all you do is double your rubies, you'll have 8 more going on the trip. And if you double 1 more cycle as we lead up to the actual launch of Epsilon, then you're going to have 16 additional rubies there. That is 29 total rubies. If you execute 4 cycles from today, the cycle we're in, the next one leading up to ageLOC Me, and then the first cycle for Epsilon, and the final launch cycle for Epsilon. That's your 24-month plan right there. If you have 29 rubies, how many executives must you have? Minimum. You have to have 116 executives in your team, right? If you end up having that many executives, 116, and they launch 10 codes for ageLOC Me or Epsilon, okay, then that's the kind of volume we're talking about, 446,000 in volume, just on the LTO of those products. The rubies would do another bunch here, another 111,000, so that's more than 500,000 in volume, a 5% commission, that's your check, okay? That's your check by following this plan for the next 4 cycles and just executing it. Don't get distracted. Just stay focused on doing this, okay? So, here's what you do. Today, before tonight, before you lay your head on your pillow, okay? What you do is you make a goal. You make an ageLOC Me goal. You decide how many ageLOC Me devices that you're going to get deployed in your downline. You might want to just decide how much money you want to make from ageLOC Me alone, and then just do the math backwards, okay, and decide how many executives you need to get the number of codes required, to get the number of Me's that you need to deploy so you can make that kind of money. And maybe that's what you ought to do. Number 2, you're going to get 10 new guests to San Diego. 10 new guests minimum, okay? Who are you going to find? Who do you know? Find people who know people who know people. Get them on the phone and say, I just found out about a brand new category of device that is going to take over the bathrooms of the world. It's patented, it's unique. I'm the only guy you know who knows about it, okay? And you need to come find out what's going to happen in this company in the next 10 months. And you get them to San Diego, okay? You know about the OTG breakout session, right? We're not going to feed you any food. We're going to feed you something much more valuable. all right? And what you want is you want people to come and understand this plan. That's what you want them to hear. And you want to hear it, you know, in a way that's going to be a lot of confidence, a lot of force behind it, all right? You enroll these guests as distributors immediately. That's what's going to happen by next weekend. By the end of Saturday, we're going to get them Friday night to come and listen to Jeff Mack. Jeff Mack's going to be very, very compelling. You're going to follow up with them, and you're going to sponsor them. Buy 3, get 1 free. Whatever you're doing with, okay? That's what you're going to do. And then we're going to tell those people, you have to cancel your Saturday activities. You need to be there all day Saturday to see what this company's about, to see the expo, to go to the OTG breakout sessions, which are free, by the way, no charge, to show up with your protein bar and your bottle of water so you can get through that lunch, okay? That's what you got to do. You're not going to have time to eat. What you got to do is you got to go to that breakout session with your own food. And then you're going to go to immediately at 2:30 to the afternoon sessions of those events, right? And your guests need to do it. We're going to take those San Diego guests, and we're going to take you plus them and get 10 more guests each to Friday night in Fort Lauderdale. That's what we're going to do. Okay, and we're going to have them attend the entire event the next Saturday, including the OTG breakout session. All right? And lastly, how bad do you want this? You know, when I was beginning my business and people say, well, what do I got to do? And I'd say, you know what? I'm looking for guys that are willing to walk through walls and eat nails. Okay? Whatever it takes, you got to be willing to make the sacrifice to do it. And I'm just telling you, this is a brief window in time. Okay? This is going to happen really fast, guys. We're at about 43 weeks until this thing hits. 44 weeks, okay? You don't have much time. You've got to make a plan, and you've got to get into action now. That's what you've got to do, all right? Thank you so much for being here today. Great luck. Have a great January. We hope to see all your people in San Diego and Fort Lauderdale, and then we'll see you on the road after that. Thanks for being here.